let's just continue right with this. If you'd like to stay, that's fine. But if you want to have some basic materials for students to do the low-level things outside of class, there's two basic approaches. You can either create your own materials, or you could use ones that are out there. If you want to create your own narrated lectures, I'll do this pretty quickly. There's a lot of tools out there that are free and some others that are relatively inexpensive. Jing has been out there for a while. I wouldn't recommend it all that much, but a lot of people have used it. And the reason I wouldn't is I believe it's still Flash-based, and Flash is pretty much disappearing. But you can use it. It's free. You can create up to 5-minute videos, which is not a bad length for these types of things. Camtasia is a much more powerful editor where you can do, it's actually a video editor, but it also lets you do screencasts where you would, for example, create PowerPoint slides or Beamer slides or Prezis or whatever you want, and you could just record a narration over it. So basically, you could do these short lectures and record it and edit them as you want. You do have to pay for it if you get your own copy, but it is available in the multimedia room upstairs in the library here. Panopto is a free tool that we have on campus where you can either use it to record in the classroom, or you can download it to your computer and record short videos, which you can then share easily and quickly within Blackboard. It works on personal computers and also on iPads. And I think, I think you can also record from an iPhone, but only videos, but you can do a little bit more on an iPad. Screencast-O-Matic is another popular thing. It's a free tool where you can do basically a screencast, where you record a lecture and it will upload it. There's a free option which has limited storage. I think it's I think it's 2 gigabytes or so. I don't remember. But if you pay for it, you can get more editing features and a bit more. And it's fairly inexpensive even if you pay for the whole thing. It's between $1.50 and $4 a month, and you pay on a monthly basis if you want the more advanced features. And a lot of people do that. iMovie on a Mac or on a smartphone or tablet. You can also do narrated slideshows. You could upload, basically save your PowerPoint slides or Acrobat slide or PDFs as individual images, and then you could do a voiceover on your smartphone, tablet, or a Mac. And there's lots of apps out there that will let you do that on pretty much all machines. But iMovie is something people do tend to use quite a bit. Best practices, keep recording short, just so people don't lose focus. Embed some practice or concept test questions are really useful. Now, if you use Camtasia, you can do that and upload it as a bundle directly into Blackboard, and it enters the gradebook. So you could have students watch a video, answer some questions in the middle of, you could have discuss a concept, have them do 1 or 2 practice questions, and then you could give them feedback, either directing them to continue or sending them back to the beginning to watch that section again if they don't do very well. And again, you can set the number of times they're allowed to take it, and it enters directly into the Blackboard gradebook. The other thing you could do is, if you don't want to embed it in the video, you could just have a link at the end of the video that takes them to a quiz, or you could have it all in a Blackboard document where they first watch something and then they take a quiz of some sort. A really important thing, though, is if you're going to create videos, is to use a good microphone and find a quieter environment. Students are really, in general, people tend to be pretty forgiving about low-quality video, but if the audio is difficult to understand, it's not a very good experience. And that's where if you try using a laptop mic, it's not going to be quite as good as if you have a USB mic or something similar. The other thing is, if you don't want to create materials, you can use existing materials. On YouTube, you can find instructions on pretty much anything, and you can find lectures on almost any topic or applications or projects or examples and so forth. In economics, Mihai is probably aware of all the things that Jody Beggs has done and many other people have done. But if you do a search for pretty much any concept in nearly every discipline, you'll find that someone has created an instructional video on that. You may want to preview that to make sure of its quality, but there's a lot of really good things out there. Khan Academy has videos in a lot of areas. They're often not as quite high quality. They tend to be very strict lecture type things. Crash course videos, a project by John Green and his brother have been created in a growing number of disciplines. They have them in psychology, they have them in economics, they have them in history, and I'm not sure what other field, but those videos have really high production values. They have really good scripting, writing, and some really good use of design principles in creating them. So those are really good to share. You can also find for many MOOCs that they have materials that are shared more widely. All of the SUNY MOOCs, for example, require that anything that's funded with an IITG grant or offered through the SUNY MOOC system has to be released under a Creative Commons license. So that means you can remix it and combine it into your own courses. So many MOOCs have some really good videos. Many MOOCs or in the production of many MOOCs, colleges or university have spent $1 million or more developing the videos, doing the scripting, the production, the audio cleanup, and so forth. And you can find some really good materials out there from some of those MOOCs. TED-Ed is an interesting tool where you can create an account on it, and you take YouTube videos, and then you can choose a portion of them and build a quiz on it. It's set up in a way so that when you do that, though, the quizzes that you create can be shared with other people. So basically, it's a tool for remixing YouTube videos with some quizzing, and you can both create them there and have your students take them, or you could grab ones that other people have done and have your students do those. Merlot has been around for a couple of decades now. It's an online learning object repository, and you can often find some really good materials there. Some of them are kind of dated and they're Flash-based, but you can find some good videos, good assignments, and so forth that you can embed directly in your course shells quite often. There's a lot of open courseware projects at a growing number of institutions. MIT and Harvard were two of the first, but more and more schools are doing it. And also, again, SUNY is doing it, although I don't think we're archiving things in any central location yet. So those are some of the basics. But now, in terms of the actual classroom, you could use clickers, you could use any number of active learning techniques. Kahoot is something, as someone mentioned before, is a tool that people will often use either outside of class or sometimes even within the classroom. So there's lots of materials out there, and you don't have to build your own, but you do at least have the option of creating your own. And the tools are really easy to use if that's something you want to try or something you want to experiment with. So, questions, comments?
I'm Laura.
So, any other reactions or thoughts? Okay, good. Anything else? And if you need help with any of the tools, I've worked with many of them, and if I haven't, I know people I can connect you with. I know Damien at one point had used TED-Ed.
So I have a question.
Sure.
With the TED-Ed, you said that basically it becomes a repository for the quizzes, that it can be shared among those who are members of that. Are the students able to obtain copies of those quizzes, or is it accessible to them as well?
I don't know, to be honest. I haven't used it. I've just seen it and looked at it. I know they can access them. I'm not sure if they can access them. I think they can only access ones that you've assigned within the class group. But we could take a quick look and see if I can quickly find that. I'm not sure, actually. That was a tool I probably knew the least amount. So, yeah, see, there's a student entry and an educator's entry. And I think you have to be approved as being an educator when you first do it. So students, I think, are constrained to only use materials that's shared with them as part of the class. But if you're concerned about that, you always have the option of using things that you created with your own questions. You could have them watch a YouTube video and then take a quiz on it that you assign in Blackboard. Does that help? I'm pretty sure that's the case. But if you'd like to explore it, you could always choose the Educator Start Here, create an account, and just see how it works. We can look at the Student Start Here just to be sure. And apparently there are subjects that they can explore on their own. Maybe all of them. Yeah, it looks like they can. So, okay. Any other questions or comments? And I'm sorry I went over in the first session. I lost track of how long the session was. Okay, very good. Well, thanks for joining, and see you at other workshops.
Thanks for hosting, John.
Thanks.